What's up, y'all? It's me, Chris. Tonight is the big night. It's it. Owensboro's Got Talent. We made it to the big show. Oh, y'all heard that? It's the audience, and it sounds like a full house. Oh man, I've come a long way from my first audition. To just moments away from my big stage debut. To get this far has taken a lot of courage. Courage is being brave enough to do what you should do, even when you're afraid. God has been with me the whole way, and I know He's gonna be with me tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna come in first place, but I do know that I'm gonna give the other contestants a run for their money. Where are the other contestants? Wonder where they could be. Oh, why is the door locked?
We're not coming out.
But the show is starting in 2 minutes.
We're not going on.
What do you mean you're not going on? So you're not gonna perform?
No.
None of you?
No.
Why?
We just found out that more government is in the audience tonight.
I don't even know who that is.
Only the biggest Broadway producer ever.
So you're gonna let one guy scare you?
Yes. Go away.
I'm not feeling as confident as I was a second ago. I mean, it's one thing to go out there and perform when I know there's gonna be other people performing with me, but alone, nah, that's a whole different story. I gotta make up my mind soon. The show is about to start. Today's story is about a bunch of people who didn't want to do the right thing, and 2 people who went against the crowd. Well, someone's gotta do it.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Numbers. Chapter 13.
Moses was 80 years old, living the quiet life, when God challenged him to return to Egypt and demand freedom for the Israelites. After terrible plagues, a scary trip through the Red Sea, and a dry, hot trek across the desert, Moses and the Israelites had finally reached the edge of the land God had promised to them. God told Moses,
"Send some men to check out the land of Canaan. I am giving it to the Israelites. Send one leader from each of Israel's tribes."
Moses called together the leaders of each of the 12 tribes.
"Step forward when I call your name. Gadi, Goel, Gadiel, Sethur, Shammua, Shaphat, Nabi, Palti, Amil, Caleb.
Here.
Joshua.
Present.
Okay, that's 11. Oh, Igal.
Yeah, that's me.
I need the 12 of you for a secret mission.
Well, you picked the right guy.
Yeah. We got this.
God is giving us this land. Go see what it's like. See whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. Do the towns have high walls around them? Is it rich land or poor land? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit of the land.
You can count on us.
Would you prefer grapes or pomegranates?
Shove off, kids. I'm in charge of this little spy expedition.
The 12 men set off to explore Canaan. For 40 days, they traveled the land.
Day 1. Broke a sandal strap.
But look how rich the land is.
Practically flowing with milk, and wow, just look at this honeycomb.
A bee sting.
Well, that ain't so good. What about those giant piles of rocks over there?
You mean the cities?
Those are cities? They gotta be built by giants.
Giants? Moses didn't say a word about giants.
But check out the size of these amazing grapes.
Even the grapes are giants.
This mission it's impossible.
After 40 days, the men returned to the Israelite camp to report. They brought with them a bunch of grapes so large it had to be carried on a pole between 2 men.
Well, how did your mission go?
Canaan is incredible.
The land is so rich. I mean, have you ever seen a grape the size of a baby hippopotamus?
Oh, this is fantastic news.
Hold it. Not so fast. The people there are powerful,
So powerful.
and their cities have ginormous walls.
So ginormous.
And the people are taller than giants.
So gigantic.
Joshua and Caleb listened in disbelief.
But God led us here.
We should go up and take the land.
Yes, if we want to be stamped on like grasshoppers.
Igal and the others spread terrible, scary stories about the land all through the camp. By evening, panic had descended, and the Israelites crowded around Aaron and Moses.
Why did the Lord bring us here?
Those people will capture our families.
I wish we just died in Egypt. We should just go back there.
Let's pick another leader.
Moses and Aaron threw themselves down on the ground before the Lord. Joshua and Caleb tore their clothes as a sign of great distress. They pleaded with the people.
Listen, the land totally rocks.
If God is pleased with us, he'll lead us there and give us the land.
But we've got to do what God says.
Don't be afraid of the people in the land. The Lord is with us. We can defeat them.
The Israelites were too scared to listen. In fact, they started planning ways to get rid of Joshua and Caleb. Before they could take action, the glory of the Lord appeared in brilliant light over the tent of meeting, so everyone could see. Then the Lord spoke to Moses.
How long will these people refuse to believe in me? I will strike them down. Lord, your love is great, so forgive their sin, just as you've done over and over since they left Egypt. I have forgiven them, but not one of these people will see the land I promised to give them. They have seen my glory, but they did not obey me. But my servant Caleb follows me with his whole heart. Caleb and Joshua are the only ones who will enter the land.
After God spoke, Igal and the other men who had spread a bad report about Canaan were struck down. Only Joshua and Caleb remained.
Whoa.
Just as God had said, none of the Israelites who had given in to fear lived to see the land God had promised. Instead, they wandered in the desert for 40 more years. In the end, it was their children, along with Joshua and Caleb, who would enter Canaan.
Well, I did it. I sang in front of people. I didn't win, but I did sing in front of people. And you wanna know what the cool part was? I wasn't the only one. Nah, man. I guess the other performers saw me perform and they thought, well, if he can do it, then I can do it. Then another, and then another. Look, we put on a real show tonight. It isn't easy being the only one to have courage. Joshua and Caleb know exactly what I'm talking about. The Israelites were slaves in Egypt before God rescued them. He led them through the desert to the land that he promised to give them. But they were too afraid to go. All except Caleb and Joshua. They went against the crowd. They did what was unpopular, but they did what was right. Doing what's popular shouldn't be the goal. I mean, read about Jesus. He stood up for what was right even when it went against the crowd. He should be our example. We should be more like him. And trust me, it's gonna take courage. It's hard to be brave when it comes to standing up to the crowd. It's even harder to be brave when your friends are a part of that crowd. Like when your friends are talking bad behind someone's back or trying to convince you to do something that you know is wrong. Somebody's gotta do it. Somebody's gotta be the one to stand up for what's right. Why not me? Why not you? The one thing to remember today is you can do what you should even when others are afraid. When you have the courage to do what's right, you might even give others the courage to do what's right. You could be the start of something really cool, something this cool. You know what? Now that I've gotten over my fear of performing in front of people, I think it's time I tackle some of my other fears, like ice fishing, bungee jumping, zip lining, wakeboarding. So many choices. Guess I better get started. See y'all later.